Hey everybody, this is your boy, Pastor Jamal Bryant from New Birth Cathedral in Stonecrest, Georgia. I'm plugged in with my friends at the Atlanta Voice. You're going to get it all real and raw, unplugged. Since becoming the leader of New Birth, the love has been absolutely overwhelming and supportive. I've not lived here since I was a student at Morehouse and graduated in 1994. So to come back with such amazing affirmation is overwhelming and it's humbling. To be installed as a pastor was a rite of passage. It was crossing the burning sands. That it was no longer pledging or online or on trial or audition, but to sit in that seat and to have the overwhelming sense that now I have this responsibility to uphold a legacy and to lend vision and to move a people to a greater chapter and a new beginning is absolutely humbling and it's horrifying because you have to dream so big that you know that if God doesn't get involved, it's going to fail. And so every day my prayer life is increasing, hoping that God will give me abiding direction for this stage and season of my life. About a year ago, I was really feeling a crisis of purpose. I've been, for the last 18 years, the pastor of a church that I started, Empowerment Temple, that mushroomed from 43 to 10,000. About a year to 18 months ago, I really felt like I'd apexed and hit a wall and knew that there was a call for me to do something else, but didn't know what that looked like or where it was. And almost through the hand of God, I found out about the opening here at New Birth, and it's almost a domino effect that everything just seemed to line up and point me in this direction. But it didn't come without a lot of internal reflection and meditation. Baltimore's home for me. I'm a third generation AME, so to leave everything that I knew was a complete act of faith, but I'm glad I trusted God in the process. It's been a magical odyssey of a journey to start brand new. Dr. King said, real faith is taking the first step when you can't see the staircase. And that's what it's been for me every day. I'm walking into something different, learning and exploring and growing and stretching. That in this landscape, I can't go based off of my education or my experience. I can only trust God for Him to give me wisdom to make the right direction and right decisions. Bishop Eddie Long created the largest land-owning mass of any black church in America. Created and built a infrastructure and a sanctuary that is cutting edge and second to none. They've gone through several different intervals and to be able to restore that vision and then bring it to the 21st century, to millennials and Gen Xers who have traditionally walked away from church and don't believe in institutional faith really is a Herculean task, but I believe that I'm man for the job and going to be able to pull it together. My DNA is liberation theology. It is both the cross and the community, and to come to the bedrock and the birthing place of the civil rights movement, knowing that I'm in the shadow of so many great luminaries who made a sacrifice for our people, really makes it easier. And I'm just excited to be able to carry the torch for another generation. I hope that my life will be remembered that God recycles. That He doesn't use perfect people, but perfecting people. I'm a pastor who has had many bumps in the road, many potholes, but God keeps putting a trampoline every time I fail. Went through a very public divorce, failed out of high school, have a GED, had a baby out of wedlock, all of the trappings that say you should be disqualified from being a pastor. And yet God would put me on the largest stage of any black church in America, not because of me, but to show Him off that He is, in fact, the God of another chance. We have over 240 acres, and so I'm really looking at doing wealth development and land development. I want us to be able to pull in solar paneling and be the largest source of alternative energy of anywhere in the state of Georgia that is owned, operated, and directed by African Americans. I want us to be able to do affordable housing for first-time homeowners right here on our property. I'm a recipient of a GED as well as having a doctorate degree, and so I want to be able on this property to afford space for those who need a second chance at higher education. And so I hope that this is a place that will be the modern Harlem Renaissance, that everything that is important to our culture can be found right on our campus. 5 years from now, New Birth will be the epicenter of everything kingdom and everything culture, that we will raise the standard of what this generation expects from a black church. Already we led the crusade to help save Bennett College that was right on the cusp of closing, and we galvanized or helped galvanize the community to help to rescue it. We were a blessing to furloughed workers in Dekalb County who found themselves without any warning, not receiving a paycheck, not just giving money in their hands, but also giving them support. Super Bowl weekend, we fed 5,000 people who were dealing with food insecurity or were homeless. We have raised already $60,000 to help bail out nonviolent offenders in Dekalb County so that they might, in fact, find justice that America has made elusive. So I'm hoping 5 years from now, when people think of the black church, synonymous with it will be New Birth Cathedral right here in Stonecrest, Georgia. It was very painful for me to leave Empowerment Temple. I started that church. It started with a Bible study in my living room with people who I went to high school with, and to see it mushroom and then explode, and then to feel the voice of God say, leave. I was really torn around it. And my father gave me some sense of solace by saying, whose church is it? Is it yours or is it God's? When I really had to release the reins and stop using the possessive term to say it's my church, it is not mine. I had to give it over to God, and so I had peace about it, knowing that God cannot let what he started fail. And so the church has just installed their own pastor not even a month ago, and they're thriving and moving forward, giving me greater comfort knowing that I made the God decision. I'm hopeful that Atlanta will realize that New Birth is continuing what it has always done, and that is be a beacon light in this community, not just to have worship, but to do service. That the real mark of an authentic, relevant church is not what you do Sunday morning, but how you execute the gospel Monday through Saturday. So I hope Atlanta will find that New Birth is a church that's like the Red Roof Inn. We're going to keep the lights on, and wherever there's crisis, that we're going to step up to the plate.